Monsieur Tim Burton. This man deserves much applause. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
And thank you for bringing to Paris today, bringing into life Ransom Riggs' novel, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I was wondering how much home did you feel to you when you read it, and what in his world resonated so much within you?
Well, before I even read it, I just looked at the book, and once I saw the way he constructed the story around these photographs, I immediately liked it, just even before reading it, because it was just something, because I collect photographs myself, and I find in photographs there's something that's very, you see an image, it tells you a story, but there's still a sense of mystery, of discovery about it. Some things look funny, they can be, sinister or humorous, and I just really love the way that he constructed, the idea of his novel. So, like I said, I've never ever looked at a book and liked it before I even read it, but that was the one.
Question. Alors, première question. Qui en a ici? Le micro, levez-vous.
Hello?
Thank you. Thank you for being here. It's
an
honor to be in the same room as you. Right,
Yeah.
Which character was the hardest to actually cast for the whole story?
Kids are always hard to cast, just because a lot of the kids in this movie hadn't done any acting before, so it was a mixture of those kinds of things. But I've always felt very, very lucky to work with people that I like. I remember meeting Asa. They go, "What about the kid from Hugo?" And I go, "Oh, I remember him being good." He was about that tall, he's not like 7 feet tall, But he was great, and she was always first choice for Miss Peregrine, because I worked with her, and she just got that funny mixture of being able to be funny and dramatic and weird and beautiful, and she looks like she could turn into a bird, so she's got everything.
Question. Je vous vois très mal. Voilà, ici.
Here.
Hello, yeah.
Hello. I wanted to ask you about the book adaptation. Seems to me you brought a lot of funny moments. Could you tell us why?
Yeah, I can't help it. It's like, don't ask me to ever do a dramatic movie, because I'm not sure I could.
Do you actually appear in the movie?
Yeah.
Yes, that was at the very, very end of the shoot, and we needed to get a couple more shots in Blackpool, but we were doing it illegally, so we didn't have money, cast, or crew. It was just me and a couple of friends, so we snuck onto a couple of rides and did a couple of quick shots. Hopefully the studio won't get calls based on that.
But you also did change quite a few things from the original novel. Very interestingly, about the main characters.
Yeah. Jane, the writer, there was lots of reasons why we did sort of things, but luckily we had Ransom's blessing. You know what I mean? I mean, the last thing you want to do is piss off the writer of the book, right? So we kind of involved him early on, just to kind of get his blessing, because it's not necessary, but it's important. So we felt comfortable, because oftentimes you have to condense things, or condense characters and make them, because there's too many things going on. So for reasons that Ransom and Jane discussed, we were able to change it without feeling the pressure, because the great thing about the book is like I said, it's all based on pictures, which are still images. Movies are obviously moving, so I think he felt comfortable, Ransom, that we were doing things. It's a film and not a book, and so he was helped with that process. Yeah.
Question ici.
Bonjour.
Sure.
Vraiment, c'est un plaisir de vous avoir ici avec nous. Moi, quand je vois ce film, je pense à votre livre, La triste fin du petit enfant 8 et autres histoires. Est-ce que pour le coup d'avoir réalisé ce film-là et ces enfants particuliers-là, est-ce que ça vous donne envie de faire un film avec vos enfants particuliers-là, à savoir les enfants que l'on voit dans La triste fin du petit enfant 8?
Oh, just a reminder, a little bit of your book, I mean, the Oyster Boy, the Death of the Oyster Boy and other novels. Did it give you the idea of maybe one day doing a story with your own children?
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, it's funny because when I was offered this, I said, well, you know, I've been doing drawings of peculiar children my whole life, so, you know, that's why, again, I sort of responded to the book. But, yeah, you know, all my little children are locked in drawers somewhere, and someday they'll come out. Yeah.
Question. Ici, oui.
Bonsoir. Vous évoquiez Jane juste avant, et je voulais savoir qu'est-ce qui vous a tenté de travailler avec elle, enfin, pourquoi vous l'avez choisie.
Yeah, I mean, you were talking about scriptwriter Jane. I mean, what made you want to work with her? What is it in her that really appeals to you?
Well, I mean, I knew Jane a little bit, sort of, because I live in London, and I've met her a few times. And she's just a fellow peculiar person, you know, so, I mean, she you know, you can recognize people like that, you know what I mean, without even necessarily talking to them, so, you know, and I think she's really talented and really good, and a little bit strange, so it's good.
Is she the one who came up with the idea of, for instance, switching Emma to Olive? I mean, that the floating fitted more the beautiful love story.
Yeah, there's something about that, and again, Ransom was fine with all of that. He was something that he felt, he got the reason for it, and was very collaborative about that. Yeah.
Question, ici.
Bonjour, bravo pour votre film et pour votre carrière. J'aurais voulu savoir si pour vous il y avait des choses similaires entre Vincent Malloy avec son univers et sa famille, et aussi Jake qui a aussi son papa qui est un peu, pas dur, mais qui est un peu particulier, et justement ce deuxième monde à lui.
First, congratulations about this movie. I mean, I would like to know if there's some similarities between Vincent Malloy and Jake. I mean, they have both tough sort of fathers and...
Well, I never thought of that, but that's exactly right. I mean, you know, I think, again, that's why, you know, Vincent was probably the first film I did, the most personal, and that was sort of, you know, me, and I'm in the film for 3 seconds. I'm not an actor at all, so it was nice to find somebody like Asa who just, you know, he just reminded me of people like myself and people I knew. It's just, all you have to do is look at them, and you can feel like they don't fit into their own culture, their own society, and so he was just very, you know, just as soon as I met him, I knew he was perfect for it. But yeah, that's a very good point. I'll have to remember that so I can, it's gonna make me look more intelligent.
Question là-bas. Levez-vous, n'hésitez pas.
Bonsoir. Bravo pour le film. Je voulais savoir si au-delà du livre, il ne rendait pas hommage à tout un cinéma fantastique. J'ai vu des tas de références par moment à des tas de films, Jason et les Argonautes, Shining. Je voulais savoir s'il ne s'était pas amusé aussi à rendre hommage à un cinéma fantastique qu'on trouve plus tellement, enfin qui est plus très intéressant aujourd'hui. Voilà.
Well, I was wondering if there's also, through your film, a tribute that you pay to a certain kind of fantastic cinema that no longer exists. I mean, there are references to Jason and the Argonauts, to The Shining, and many more. So, was it also for you a way to pay tribute to that form of cinema and genre?
Well, I think in general, you know, the films that you grow up with, films that have impact on you, I think it's all, you know, just making films is a tribute to those things, because that's what shaped my life, and that's what the kind of movies I like, and that's why we try to do as much effects live, you know, and not rely too much on computer stuff, but we did a mixture of techniques. We actually did a little bit of stop motion as well, animation, and I just feel like, especially for a film like this, the human elements are more tactile, you know, less green screen, more locations and that kind of thing was important. It just felt right for this particular story. So I think sometimes those are direct influences and sometimes it's just more internal. But I would say in almost any film I do, I think about those things that inspired me.
Question ici.
It's again me. So I thought about the references of the movie of your previous works, and I was wondering if you wanted to actually add more to the movie, or if you just thought maybe I shouldn't add this because it's a specific movie and I don't want to put too much of my own work.
No, I mean, I think in this particular case, I mean, I always try to make things, whether it's something that like Edward Scissorhands or whatever that's, or Nightmare Before Christmas, which is more personal, even the things that are based on other things, I try to treat personally. You know, I try to make it feel like, well, this is my movie. So, yeah, some are probably closer internally, but I always treat them the same way. I try to put as much into it. I think for me, it's always the balance of, you know, drama to humor to weird, you know, just to try to find an interesting balance, and that's always the trickiest part to make it, you know. But for me, it was easier on this one because it's something I felt very close to, and I could feel it, you know, I understood the character, and you know, and his sort of displacement.
But you just said that you felt very close to this one. I mean, did you feel that it somehow reminded you of your own days at school, of your own being maybe felt as peculiar?
Yeah, and also the theme of like what's real and what's fantasy. You know, those things for me have always been very blurred, and so I like that theme in this. You know, was grandfather's stories or the stories. So I like the combination of that, and plus the characters. You know, you try to look at each one, you know, and I certainly could relate to Jake's character, you know, but it's weird to do a movie where, you know, you got a character like this who, you know, in a normal movie, you know, you hire a big action kind of kid star, but this, you know, he was just, that's what I liked about it. It was, he's not really an action hero, you know.
Very human about it. Question ici, au fond.
Hello, you were talking about the pictures, the photos that Ransom Ring used to be inspired for the book, and I was wondering how you used them, the photographs, to work, and how much faithful you wanted to remain with the photographs.
Well, I mean, it's a tricky thing because the photographs, you know, like I said, it's a book, so, and they don't move, you know, so you're looking at a picture. So the first and the most important dynamic of a photo, you know, you're looking at it and you make up your own mind about it and story. You know, you read whatever, you look at some picture, you could look at it, one person say, "Oh, that's a really funny picture," and that's a really creepy picture, or whatever, you know. So obviously, since the film is moving, you can't do that, and so all I tried to do is I had certain key for me, words in terms of what I got from the book, which you can't really do in a movie. I mean, but when I look at pictures, there's a sense of kind of poetry, the mystery, and even the compositions is just trying to make nice, so that even though it's a different medium, you still get hopefully a flavor of what the book is, you know. And then that was the attempt of not being literal with it, but just trying to do it in the spirit of what the book is.
Question là-bas.
Oui, bonsoir. Vous basez votre film sur le premier tome de Miss Peregrine des enfants particuliers, mais vous allez un peu plus loin par rapport à la fin du premier tome. Est-ce que vous aviez la volonté de condenser finalement les 3 tomes en un film, ou de prendre une autre direction parce que la fin du premier tome est plus ouverte et apportait peut-être pas forcément une conclusion qu'on peut avoir dans un film?
Your film is based on the first novel from the trilogy, but the end of your film is more open and sort of says more about into the second novel almost. Was your intention like to create an open end or to condensate everything within one film?
Yeah, no, I mean, I didn't, because you know, every film you do is like your first and last film, so you know, and I don't really think about things in like, you know, I mean, I remember doing Batman many years ago. I was lucky enough not to hear the word franchise, you know what I mean? It was like, you know, now it's a different time, but I don't think that way. You know, each movie has to sort of be on its own. So no, I wasn't planning, you know, a 6-picture. You know, I just thought it ended it just sort of, you know, just in your imagination, your journey continues, and so it wasn't meant to be necessarily an open-ended thing, but just not so, you know, the end.
My friend. Question ici.
Après Dark Shadows, c'est la deuxième fois que vous dirigez Peregrine.
qu'est-ce que vous lui trouvez de vraiment si particulier, et particulièrement pour ce rôle?
Well, it's the second time you've directed Evergreen after Dark Shadows. What do you find about her that is so peculiar that you wanted to direct her?
Well, have you ever met her? She's, as I was saying earlier, you know, there are very few people that have a combination of things in terms of, in one thing, being, you know, both funny, emotional, sensitive, strange, beautiful. I mean, to be able to do all of that in one thing is just very exciting to me. You know what I mean? I really, really, you know, I don't think people know how funny she is, you know, it can be. I mean, she's just really, you know, she reminds me of like an old movie star that, you know, is just sort of, you know, you don't think that they're even real, you know. I mean, she's got that kind of quality of mystery and beauty that is sort of missing in our time now. Everybody knows everything about everybody, right? So it's nice when people still have their, you know, mystery about them.
You even use in the U.S. press a metaphor. You called her Scary Poppins.
Yeah.
Like
But
in Mary Poppins.
Yeah. She, you know, well, I always found Mary Poppins was quite scary anyway, you know. So it wasn't much of a stretch, you know. But I mean, she was definitely. Eva was like the you know, headmistress or teacher that I wished I had but never had.
Question là-bas.
Hi. Hi. Sorry, I'm a little bit intimidated to be talking to you right now. So thank you for this movie. And my question was about the fact that before your movies were kind of, well, they were very dark and very grave, and since very recently, even including Dark Shadows, I feel like your movies are a little bit brighter and with more joy into it, and I want to know if there were a reason for that.
I've gone insane. That's
Okay.
You know.
Or happier.
Well, do I look happy to you? Well, I have to think about that because I never really thought about that. And you know, to be fair, I think I am going a bit sort of nuts. I am. I think I'm fairly quickly going crazy. So that maybe it's that. Because I don't necessarily feel happier. Maybe it's because I'm putting into my work. Now in my real life, I'm miserable. I don't know.
You don't look that miserable to us. Question ici.
Bonsoir. Vous avez fait plusieurs films en 3D. Donc j'aimerais connaître votre rapport avec cette technique, sachant que sur Alice vous l'aviez converti après le tournage. J'aimerais savoir si c'est une 3D native et comment est-ce que vous travaillez vos plans par rapport à ça.
Well, I mean, you've done several 3D movies. I mean, House was converted. Is this native? Is this converted? And what is your viewpoint about this technique of 3D?
Well, I mean, when I first did the first Alice, you know, that was the time in the talk, especially in America, it was like, everything was going to be 3D, everything. And, you know, it had quite a big backlash because it's like, well, wait a minute. You know, and I always said right from the beginning, look, it's just another way of seeing it. It shouldn't be forced upon any, you know, usually now, which is great, you get a choice. You know, you can see it 3D or not in 3D because you know. But I was impressed with this one because I felt like, you know, I'm not a huge fan necessarily of it, but what I liked about this conversion was the fact that because it's not the kind of movie that's got a lot of quick cutting in it and stuff, it just allows the composition to sort of be there. And I was surprised in certain cases where I sort of felt when I saw it that in certain cases it enhanced some of the poetry in it, you know, as opposed to, you know, just being a weird kind of thing. So, you know, I really like it, but I also am happy if I had to make a choice. If people said it's going to be in 3D or nothing, you know, I don't know if I do it. I think the choice is good.
You also wanted to know if 3D influenced the way you shot, you position your camera, the angle of the framing.
No, because to be honest, we were it was never, usually if these things are considered, we consider them right from the beginning, and I didn't consider it at all. But I think because of my background in animation and things, composition's always been important. So in some ways, it really lent itself to working with the composition of the shot. And again, too, because it's not quick cutting, which often in 3D can drive you nuts. Make it make it even worse. So I was very pleasantly surprised about it, but no, wasn't initially planning it.
Question là-bas.
Hello. So everybody knows we're living in the superhero era, and I know you almost directed a Superman movie a while ago.
Yeah.
And some themes in this one are directly linked to the genre. So my question would be, is this your version of a superhero movie?
Yeah, for the Sonic. Well, let's put it this way. Yeah, I mean, it's like superheroes that don't really do anything, right? It's like they're kind of like, and I never saw, everybody says powers, they have powers and power. I go, well, they're more like afflictions, really. They're not really, that's what I loved about them. They're basically just kids, but they each have their own peculiarities, which it's more kind of like a, superhero movie, but from a different angle, not quite the usual one.
It's the coming of age, really.
Yeah, it's more about, I think it's it has those elements in it, but they kind of come at it from a different angle.
Question là-bas.
Bonsoir, merci d'être ici, merci pour ce film. Deux petites questions en fait. Je voulais savoir si vous aviez l'impression d'être à Hollywood un réalisateur particulier, parce qu'on connaît vos films à chaque fois, il y a un style très fort. Et la deuxième, c'est s'il me semble que ce n'est pas Danny Elfman qui fait la musique, et je voulais juste savoir pourquoi c'était pas lui sur ce film, alors qu'on aurait très bien pu l'imaginer avec son univers. Merci.
Well, it's a two-part question. First of all, do you feel that in a way, in the world of Hollywood, you are perceived as a somewhat peculiar director because your films will always have, thank God, the Burton touch? First part of the question.
Yeah, that's the funny thing, from the beginning. I've been working in parallel universes because, most every movie I've done has been a studio movie, so I've only dealt with studios. And, even when I was working at Disney, I was always deemed a bit strange. And my career throughout Hollywood, people are always worried that I'm going to do something really weird, but I don't feel that way. From the beginning, like Nightmare Before Christmas, too dark, Batman's too dark, and I've been hearing that for 30 years, same thing. That gets a little bit boring. At the same time, I've been lucky to be able to do things, and so I take the weird label to a degree, because it's also, I've allowed to spend some semi-large sums of money making weird things that they don't quite understand. But I've been, very lucky that way, so I can't really complain too much.
And the second part of the question was about the music. We're very used to Danny Elfman, obviously, doing your scores. Why did you pick him up for this one? Because it really could have felt like real good territory for him as well.
He was busy, basically. Sometimes schedules don't work out. And, I've done a couple of. He's done. I love him, and he's my friend. We'll continue to do work together. But I think it's had a similar thing on Ed Wood. He wasn't available, and then Sweeney Todd was a Stephen Sondheim thing. So, I worked with this guy who's a music editor on Sweeney Todd, and like a person I know. So I just thought, it's the kind of movie where I just want to give somebody else a chance, I'd like to do that every now and then, somebody did that for me, so that's nice to and I think you did a great job too, so.
Dernière question. Last question.
Again?
Oh, it's you again, hello.
Well, it's a two-part question this time. First one is, because I won't sleep if I don't know that, who killed the brother? Because we see it was a bad guy, but I need to know which one. And the second part is, if you had the chance to choose one peculiarity, which one would you pick?
Well, invisibility would be good. I do find myself thinking I would like to disappear quite a bit, so that's probably the one that I have. And Victor was killed by one of the hollow that came that came up over the thing. So, you know, one of those blank-looking people in the torn suit. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much
for being with us.
Thank you
for
very much.
coming. Thank you for